The forge has gone quiet, the bellows blow no more. The forge has gone quiet, the smiths have gone home. Only fading embers remain, and my hearth grows cold. One kiss from you to rekindle it all.
Welcome back to Queen of Embers. I'm your game master, Daniel Fox. Ooh, we are on game session 68, and we're down a player. Unfortunately, Adam Rose, who plays Tyrwin Forrester, is stuck in an IT thing. Excuse me. That's our chairs in the floor, by the way.
Sure it is.
Not tooting. Not tooting. So. We are back. And when we last left off in the game, maybe we can do kind of a quick rewind to talk about what led to where you're at now. And just so we can our viewers can kind of see it, we ended on a pretty bad situation in the midst of a fight that was tough. It was a pitched battle. But I think it would be helpful just to kind of rewind for a moment and talk about last game session, what brought you here. Like, let's talk about what happened. So who wants to take that? Who wants to own that?
I can start.
Okay, go ahead.
So, are we talking about what brought us in general to the mine?
No. Last game session.
Okay.
Like, what happened?
So, last game session we had begun in the altar. The Ninefather, and it was I'm terrible with names.
Bruno
Lehman, drunk and just continuously drinking, going on about how the 13 betrayed him. He's been sold out.
The 13?
The 13, the hand.
Got it.
I don't know where I'm going. The drink between episodes, okay. So the hand had betrayed him.
What's in your Zweihander?
Yes, Zweihander. Mixed drink.
Yay.
The hand had betrayed him, sold him out, and he was going down one way or the other. How he had no options left except for the control of his own life, and so he was choosing to go out in his own fashion. And we assumed he meant drink himself to death. So Harper sits down like a true gentleman friend, a pacifist, and was like, "I'll share a drink with you. No man should drink alone." And then the guy is like, "Oh, you just took a drink? Well, it's poison. It's all poison." And Harper was like, "Well, this was a mistake." And so we had a bit of a talk about that, about how that there was an imposter amongst them, and basically a pretender who could assume the guise of any man.
Anyone know who that person is?
Abel.
Yep. Abel Mason.
But we don't know if he's a what are the creatures in the basement?
Siabran. We
Siabran.
don't know what he is.
He doesn't know if he's a Siabran.
Yeah, we just know he's not a man, like, of ordinary means that we come to understand.
So before you had started,
Mm-hmm.
Jason, they had actually heard about Abel Mason back in Act 2?
Yeah, like Act 2.
What do you recall what happened?
The Da Vinci Chapter House. I ran into somebody from the 13 who recognized us. One of the caretakers or whatever at the Da Vinci House when it had been shut down, and he stated that Abel was running around controlling things at the Da Vinci House, and he was the guy to talk to if you wanted anything done, but to be scared of him because he didn't know like where Abel lies, his loyalty, and all of those things. And then we went on to find out that Professor Hofstorff, Felix Hofstorff, he also said that Abel was controlling him and inside of his mind. And before he jumped out the window,
he didn't jump out of the window. He jumped over a ledge.
okay, well, before
Still inside.
He jumped over the banister
okay.
Yeah, he jumped over the banister.
and over Banneker.
A little bit. Well, okay. Before his abrupt landing, Hofstorff Offstore stated that Abel
Should've.
was controlling everything, but we didn't know who it was, could not
Banneker's
find
there.
him.
Yeah.
But he kept saying that he took on other faces, which is also what Bruno said.
That's right.
We looked for this Able guy,
We couldn't
right?
find
and
him.
we could never find him.
Right.
We actually did look for him in Act 2.
Well, that's because he
That
was,
was a huge-
secretly
Well,
the
he could've been
major
anybody.
domo of. He was pretending to be, from what I
Maybe.
understand.
From what we think.
What you think is that he was actually in the guise of the major domo of Bruno Lehman. And so we find Bruno
Or maybe
Tennyson.
he's you.
poison himself to death. That's secretly,
Well,
that's why none of you have seen my flashcards, Dan Hansen.
Exactly.
if this,
I'm secretly
if this
able.
guy could have taken on the skin of anyone, why would he have chosen a different skin than what Kennison and Algiers actually look like?
Yeah, well, that's also true. That's a good point.
Well,
Stop poking holes in our logic over there.
I don't know whose logic that was. I didn't like it though.
So you learn this from Bruno, and you learn about the guiding hand, and that clearly they have turned against Bruno, and he thought that you were their assassins, and he lies dying on the floor, choking on his own vomit as he's been poisoned himself, and what happens from there.
Someone had a.
The pacifist over there injects him with a little bit of anti.
Yeah, I get a little anti-venom from Bannister helped out.
And then Warren looks him over. He's like, "Hey, he's got some sort of tumor on this. Something's
Not a
going wrong.
tumor.
Something's going wrong. It's something weird.
It's not a tumor. You even took your time.
It's irregular.
An irregularity, that's right.
Yes, an irregularity. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it.
But we decide we're going to take him and the major domo back after hearing the confession from him and major domo being able to confirm all that information for us. We're going to take them both back, and then the major domo can give up the information, and we can have ourselves a trial. So we work our way back along the tracks under this heavy presence, it felt like, and we get to the tracks, and lo and behold, the giant rope that's like Titanic anchor-sized chain, big around, has been cut, and the lift is down permanently, and the guy we came down here is now a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He lost a couple pounds.
not just cut, but
Cleanly severed.
smoldering.
It's
Smoldering,
like a
that's it.
lasered.
Including the bell rope, so we
Laser.
can't even alert anybody that we're
Laser.
stuck down here.
Lasered.
So
Laser
we
with a Z.
decide to take a bit of a risk, and we decide we're going to go down to where we hear the Siabranar, because if this has been cut by their nefarious plot of Siabranness,
And we have nowhere else
We
to
had
go.
nowhere else to go.
we also have nowhere
I
else
mean-
to go.
There was
Because
also
what's
a
his name?
lovely breadcrumb trail of servants on the way to said elevator.
Dead servants.
Yeah.
But also, what's his name? The Major Domo. Didn't he say he thought the Sea Operants had a way out from?
Actually, I think that was our party coming to the conclusion of why would they trap themselves down here? They must have another way out.
Maybe that was us.
That was
So
that was
what else
entirely us.
what else did you discover about the servants who were in the track, who were lying in the caverns?
Weren't they like ritualistically killed? Was that it?
Or you mean that they're like robbing and looting the place?
Well, they've been robbing and looting the place, sure, but there were no visible wounds upon them. They weren't lying
I
in
missed
pools
that.
of blood.
They were.
They
And
were
they were just
It's caught
they
around.
were just dead.
Right. Oh, like snap necks or anything like that.
They were just dead.
just dead.
Nobody stopped to take the time to really look. In fact, I think everyone felt a little bit. I don't know what drove that decision from there, but I think Terwin said we need to press on. But there were no visible wounds at all
Yeah.
on these people.
Well, I was suffering from fear. I know I wanted to leave.
I went out. So what happens from there?
Not once, but twice last time.
So we head our way down into the mines, taking the right-hand path this time. Proceed down a big flight of stairs, like worn-in stairs from mining, to start discovering some rooms down in the darkness. And one of the first areas we find has a ton of gunpowder in it. The other path off to the other side is caved in. We're moving into the darkness where we have a split off to go either way. And we were like, well, let's go down the areas that the tracks, because that must mean we go deeper. And Banneker was like, well, we don't want to leave our back exposed, so let's check out this other path. So I believe it was Warren, Banneker, and Eugene, I think is who the team was, decided, we'll check this out while the others watch the main path. And we step in there to find there's dead children all over the room, just wasted away dead.
What did you learn about children who were down here?
they were being used
In experiments.
well to fix the machines too, or to work on the machines, or something to do with
The
everything.
River
Maybe there's-
Vipers were kidnapping them to be used down in the mines.
Yeah, so this goes back to Act 1.
Yeah.
But we find these dead children right as the other team starts to see stuff on the other tracks. And then out of the wall on like a secret entrance comes out two big old Siabrin, 10-foot tall, gangly as you please. And it was a firefight.
It was a firefight indeed, and I think what we need to do before we jump back into combat, we need to first give me my revised core rulebook right there, please. And I apologize, I have a slight cough. I've got something going on.
There's also the Baroness's Shrine we found when we were entering down.
Oh yes, what was the shrine about? That's right.
Yeah.
What did you see?
It looked like the city was in flames, right?
Yeah, there was 3 pillars
Oh,
of light,
yeah.
and the city was on fire from the candles that were in there, but there was a statue to the Baroness in the middle of the shrine that was 3 foot tall.
That's right.
Forgot about that.
So
What?
where we?
They said the name of the cave.
That's right. The name of the adventure, the Queen of Embers.
And then the name was actually said.
Yeah, yes, Adam.
It's the Queen of Embers. Do the impression.
It's the Queen of Embers.
Why does
Where are
he
the
sound
drugs?
like Bane?
Where are the kids?
Where's the kids?
I got one eye.
Fear me.
I assume a Cockney accent, but alright, let's go with it.
Alright. Oh, education, what was?
It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
It's just
It's,
evolving.
you
so
mean it's
not
getting
close.
better.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
Getting better.
Guys, Mike's not here, but at least we got Adam.
Yeah. It's true.
So,
You gotta do this the whole time.
that's right. What?
Where are the drugs?
That's right. So, we are going to start. We're going to resume combat. We kept the same. Everybody already rolled their initiative. We had one left actually in the roll, which was Harper. But I think we left off in a very perilous moment because Warren, she had channeled power. And before we jump into the greater manifestation that happens, I want to clarify a quick ruling about channel power. So, channel power for magic, typically you choose to do it after the game master has called the difficulty rating, because you can then adjust the difficulty rating up. You can adjust it by 1, 2, or 3 steps. So if I tell you, hey, your chance to use magic is arduous, you can say, I'm going to channel for 3 steps, so it goes from arduous to hard, then hard to challenging, and challenging to standard. So that's a standard test. However, for every step you channel up, it costs you a chaos die. So when you roll your chance to succeed your incantation test, you roll a certain number of d6 along with that. You resolve the attack, then you resolve the manifestation if anything lands on a phase 6. Now, specifically for Warren's character, in advanced tier, your profession is called
Sanguine Legionnaire.
a Sanguine Legionnaire. And a Sanguine Legionnaire can channel power with their attacks, with melee weapons. And it costs 1, 2, or 3 action points, 1, 2, or 3 to chaos dice. And remember, one thing I do want to clarify is that when you choose to channel power, it is 1 action point. So if you choose to channel power, let's say you move, like you do like a stand, like I'm gonna hustle forward and make a melee attack. That last AP has to be used to channel power for your channel.
Right.
So that's the rules, quick rules clarification. But I think it's time for us to resolve actually what that chaos manifestation is.
Oh god, that doesn't sound good.
Did you get to? So, above boards.
Yeah.
Does he get to chaos manifestation then strike, or did you strike last time?
I struck
You
last
struck
Okay,
already.
then I'll
Yeah,
be
you
quiet.
do.
Then I'll be
chaos
quiet.
manifestation
And
after.
then-
Okay,
Right.
then I'll be completely
So
quiet.
let's
Sorry.
so let's figure out what happened. So I will narrate. So it's dark. It's very, very dark in these tunnels, save for the glowering of a lantern, which you all can see. If we go to the battle board just for a mere moment, you can actually see it. I've actually got a figure for a lamp right here that Elisa had dropped between these 2 stone pillars right here. In between the pillars. So the light that's kind of coming toward where she or Warren is right here, it's dim. And she's standing at the foot of a set of stairs. And at the feet of those stairs is a single barrel of gunpowder right here. And at the top of the stair is this long, gangly limbed person who looks like it looks like they were stretched out like in a carnival mirror. And they're wearing these frightening looking ivory and brass masks. The face of this one looks like it has its tongue in place of its what are those little bumps on your tongue called again? Your taste buds. Instead of taste buds, the tongue is covered in eyes, like a large, wide open mouth on this mask. And it's very, very frightening. So what happens is Warren, takes a bit of sacred oil, which happens to be a thumb drop of blood and some maybe semen or something else terrible, and rubs it down the rope, and then whips it around and snaps toward the Seabran as she channels power, and it manifests into a greater manifestation. So, if you would, Warren, please roll those percentiles. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what nice goodies we get.
Fire.
And I rolled 14.
14. Okay.
That's a low one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is this sound, almost like the sound of something crackling through the air, and you can see from where you're standing, Harper, there is this visible line between where the rock has shifted, like a line of light that turns purple. It's almost like this very thin haze that kind of worms its way like this, kind of a curtain of light upward, kind of expanding out from below the ground, and it winds its way around the corner, and then you hear this sound come from Warren as you have been struck. Your lineage has been concluded. What this means is the infection of chaos permanently renders you sterile. You gain the eunuch drawback.
Okay. She does?
Warren does.
Okay.
Warren, at this point, you are filled with intense pain. As there's this it's like being kicked in the groin 1,000 times over. You can't even begin to explain the pain. As you feel like your insides have been drawn out of your body and have been drawn elsewhere. Like you feel that whoever she pays homage to has ended your lineage, has ended your ability to carry on your bloodline forever. And not just yours. Every male heir, every person in your family. You know this in your mind, and you're immediately racked with intense guilt, as you will suffer, to no great surprise, 11, 16, 19 mental peril.
Oof.
As this happens, I'm gonna take this, if that's okay, where the fortune points are, just so I can roll in it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna roll
Which you
above
did last
board.
time.
Yeah,
Which you did last time.
and then we can put this in something else if you want
That's
to.
still on the corner. I think that's what you did last
Yeah,
time.
I'll spin them around here on a game board. So this happens in the flash of an instant, and now moving back to the battle board.
All right.
It is indeed, to pick up after the end of combat, it is now Harper's turn. So Harper, if you recall, is down this hallway over here. Harper is near a number of barrels of gunpowder right here. And the lamp is still sitting on top of this barrel here, we'll say. So what would you like to do, Harper? You have 3 action points.
So I see this guy take the barrel and walk off, and Harper immediately goes, "Oh shit," to himself. And so what he's going to do is actually hustle for 1 AP towards it.
Towards what? I'm sorry.
Towards the barrel and the Siabran.
Oh, okay. So how far can you move with that?
10.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to be in front of it right here?
Yeah, I want to be right next to it.
Okay. So you're right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I believe he put it on the ground and put his foot on it or something like that, right?
Yeah, the Siabran interloper's foot was kind of on the ground. In fact, if you recall too, as a reminder, the Siabran were affected by an intimidate test, a crit success one, in fact.
Uh-huh.
So they still are suffering a slight penalty to everything they do. So yes, you're there.
All right. So what Harper's going to do, because he knows the violence that this thing can bring, is he's going to actually try to grab the barrel, and that's normally 2 AP, right, to interact.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he will take a fortune point, since that refreshed, and hustle away with it.
Oh, okay. Bravely, you see Harper. Now the barrel is heavy, so let's go ahead and roll a challenging athletics test.
Okay.
This test is not to fail; it's a fail forward.
Yeah.
But if you crit fail,
You're gonna.
I got these.
Yeah,
I got these.
that's right. You get Oathkeeper abilities, but
All right, challenging
yeah, challenging.
makes it a 52. I succeed with a 32.
Nice. So, what we'll assume is that you'll hustle away your standard hustle rate, but as you do this, you put yourself in harm's way as you hear the crack of a bullwhip.
Like he knows it's coming.
That's right. The Siabran snaps the bullwhip. And remember, these bullwhips have these flechettes at the end, and they were actually dealing damage last time.
What, did I have him
Choked.
tangled or choked from
You
last?
did.
No, you did not.
Okay.
Because you missed or succeeded with your hit?
I did.
Not anymore, because you just got struck. Your range was just ended.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's fine.
I mean,
yeah.
that makes sense.
No, yeah.
So as this happens, he's going to attempt an attack, which is a 75% chance. My apologies.
He had like the
And I rolled a 10%.
Nice.
So as this happens, you will suffer damage. Obviously, my apologies. Yeah, you suffer damage.
Yep.
And it's going to be 4 plus 5, so 9 damage.
Ugh, I am lightly wounded.
Ooh. And as this happens, it is also entangling.
All right.
So the whip comes down and wraps around the bottom of your legs. He tries to pull you off your feet. So go ahead and roll a challenging coordination test.
All right. I have a 50%. I rolled a 52, so I fail.
Do you want to try rolling that with a fortune point?
It's flipped to fail. So
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just gonna
Okay.
take it and just go.
So as Harper drops to the ground, the barrel begins to roll. Because you grabbed it, turned around, and it just starts to roll away. So you're on the ground, but the barrel is rolling away. But let's see how far it rolls away. It's going to be really difficult for me to continue spinning this around, so I think I'm just going to roll on the glass. Otherwise, I don't think our viewers will be able to see the table, and I think it's a little confusing for everybody else too. So if we're looking at the...
You're thinking of a dice box like you used to have.
This is my dice box. What we're using for fortune. So if Harper is right here and get snap off the feet, the barrel's going to roll a certain number of yards, and we're going to say it's going to roll...
D6 chaos die.
We'll say
A
2D.
D6.
We'll say 2d10 plus 2.
What? Okay.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. So it's going to roll 10 yards. So it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And fortunately, it bumps up against one of the heavy wooden timbers. And these Jenga pieces, by the way, represent wooden timbers. If you're paying attention to my Twitter, I told you about a $10 hack to create pillars for your game.
Nice.
Buy a Jenga tower. It's the best thing you can do as a game master, and you can box monsters are 3x3 each, so you can actually make them into terrain too. But nonetheless, the barrel kind of strikes the pillar and comes to a dead stop. But the barrel doesn't. Well, actually, let's see if the barrel explodes open. If you wouldn't mind, K, roll a 1d6 chaos die.
Oh,
If it lands on a phase 6, the barrel opens up.
on me. Woo.
believe in you.
It's a 6.
Did you roll a 6?
It's a 6.
Oh no! So the lid comes off, and there is
Oh, that's fun.
now gunpowder spillage. So what we're going to do is we'll replace the barrel with this
Okay.
little pile of skulls.
Oh, that's us now.
This is where the gunpowder is at. It's on the ground all over in that general area. Fortunately, it didn't stop short, and fortunately, it didn't open up where the lantern is. So that's good. That's in your favor.
All right.
So will that be the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's totally the end.
Okay. So I'll take your results now. So not surprising, Banneker's going to be at the top of initiative.
I'll put them in order for you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Look at this.
Thank you.
You got one more result here.
That's
What do you have? What do you have, Harper?
I have a 10.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's got
So, not surprising. Once again, at the top of the round is Banneker, because he's a watchman. And if we remember, Banneker is back here. And the barrel rolls past you and explodes open. Unfortunately, you have no light source in hand. You just have your bow here. But you can see the action. You know the Seabra had kind of escaped further down the tunnel this way, toward the lift. Or sorry, the lift that takes them down below into the lower mines. And as you're kind of looking down the way, you can see that Harper is brought off of his feet. You can see over where Warren, where she is. And she's bowled over, holding onto her groin. And the Seabra is at the top of the stairs with the bullwhip and is moderately wounded. The other two Seabran are seriously wounded, if you recall. So, it is your turn. What will you do?
These guys have jumped on. They're on the lift, or they're about to get on the lift?
Well, you saw them round the corner. Unfortunately, you don't have a clear view where you're at. Like, you can see Tim, but where the figure is positioned, you can't see around the pillar. So, if
I just saw one of them. They just ran.
They did. That's all you know. They just ran.
Okay.
So what you know is not necessarily what your character would know in this case. That's the only challenge you run into with big battlefields like this. But you have to consider hard corners and things like that. So you don't have a direct view to them unless you decide to hustle forward a few yards and pause. Because you can still hustle forward and potentially get a shot off on them if you were to fire between the pillars, as an example. Like if you were to kind of right here from 1 AP, you can see all the way down and take a shot.
Okay, well, I'll do that.
Okay, so you kind of go 1, 2, and the good thing is that let's see how far the lantern light goes to make sure it actually extends that far. If I'm not mistaken, I actually have some printouts for this for another thing. Do we know what the distance is on a lantern?
That was 15.
15.
I can tell you, it is a. I don't have it on this.
It is 15.
It's 15.
Okay, so 15 yards. So let's see.
They are 15.
Oh, perfect. So they're
Shooting
right on
strike.
the edge of perfect light. So what is the distance on your weapon?
16 is short.
Nice. Okay. So which one do you want to fire at? The one on the left or the one on the right?
I don't have warfare, so I'm just going to shoot.
Okay. So, all right. Cool. Okay. So, all right. Your chances are going to be standard. So you pull your arrow. You move unless you want to take aim beforehand.
I am going to take aim.
Okay. Fair enough.
Really far away at this point. They are not attacking me.
Okay. So it's going to be routine then.
Routine, simple range. That would be 75%, and an 18 is a success.
Roll 1d6. 1 through 3, you hit the one on the left. 4 to 6, you hit the one on the right.
4.
Okay. So that Seabran has no benefit of cover because there are crates down there. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Well, big money.
They have no
big
action
money. points.
I marked it here. They had no action
10
points.
points.
10 points. Oof. All right. That's a lightly, moderately, seriously. That's a grievously wounded
Get that injury.
Seabran. Lightly, moderately, seriously, grievously wounded. Go ahead and roll 3d6 chaos dice.
Nope.
No phase 6? Okay.
I've been rolling.
All right.
Really?
The Seabran bowls over at this point, clearly hurt over here, but marked with the red ring. So for our purposes and our viewers' purposes over there. So that brings us to Eugene Thornberry.
I'm gonna go after them.
Okay, so Eugene, you're right here, sitting in front of this.
I have movement of 9, so I believe I cannot charge because of the train tracks themselves.
You can't charge or run over the tracks. That is correct.
But I can
hustle
move
across.
down. Yeah,
You
so
can hustle.
I think I have to double hustle, so 2 AP.
1, 2, 3,
Do the
4,
hustle.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And then hustle again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle of both of them like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you close the distance where you're at, you can see first off, you can see kind of like where they are standing. You can see this huge wooden contraption that's clearly a lift, and it consists of the same heavy ropes as before. It's a much smaller lift, smaller in size. There's a bell ringer up here too. And as you look down, as the lift has just kind of goes clunk, it comes to the top. It's like ready to be stood on. You can hear this kind of clicking and whirring sound coming from below, and this strange red light. A strange red ambience kind of rising almost between where the lift meets the rock on the ground.
That's unnerving.
The two Siabran are kind of like framed in that, so it kind of has like the back of that cavern's kind of bathed in red light as you prepare your attacks. What will you do?
And then I'm just gonna lunge in at one of them to try and get him and scream.
You have warfare?
I don't.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do the same thing.
Okay, so go ahead and make a standard attack.
And this will be to determine at random which one I hit. D6.
4 through 3 on the
standard?
left, 4 through 6 on the right. Okay.
She said standard test.
Yep.
I do not make it with a 70.
Oh.
Okay. Your rapier bites into the wood.
I think I'll reroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that and I'll gain a misfortune point.
89, even worse.
Okay,
Oh
so
well, I missed.
you stab once again, and unfortunately the blow does not connect. That brings us to Elisa Mary.
Talon, they're getting away!
I'm on it, he says.
I fallen and I can't get up. I think he's still in his.
I got one eye! I got my eye on it! I got one eye! So what do you want to do, Elisa?
Okay, Elisa is going to pull her bow at the beginning of her turn.
Okay.
For free.
Yes.
Alright. Then use 1 AP to load said bow, 1 AP to take aim, and last one to shoot down the hallway.
Okay. Do you have warfare?
I do not.
Okay.
Oh, no, I do.
Is this your new one?
You do.
I do.
You want to choose the one on
I
the left
took
or the
warfare.
one? You choose the one on the left or the one on the right?
I am going to choose the one on the left because he's not behind cover.
Okay.
Great.
Your test will be hard. Do not critically fail this test.
Okay.
I'm not
Do it.
afraid. You critically failed, didn't you?
No, I didn't. 21.
It was on
Nice.
Yeah.
She got
I
stuck.
rolled-
She got stuck in a crease.
Yeah,
So,
I don't have a very
as you-
space to roll.
You pull the arrow to fire. He will use a misfortune point to try dodging it.
Nice.
Yeah. So my chances are not so great. They're only.
Are they still suffering from the critical success?
Oh,
intimidated
all of
wounds?
it. Oh yeah, it's already
Right.
calculated in.
Perfect.
That's right. All the they're still suffering from all the impacts of those things. So their chance is only 45, 40. Sorry, 40 with the penalties. I rolled a 64. So the arrow bites in. Roll damage.
Alright.
Big money.
I
Big
rolled
money.
a d6 because I was like,
Use
I don't have
your
warfare.
magic
Come on.
card.
My what magic?
She
card?
used it all.
Just both.
Oh, you usually use.
I rolled
critically failed
two
twice.
77s in a row
That's
last
right.
game.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
So that's 3 plus my agility. So 8 points of damage.
Nice. Grievously wounded.
Oh no, I was doing this one, the one without cover.
Oh,
So
that's
he's
right.
dead.
Okay. That's right. So the arrow. So I'll tell you what happens. Roll percentiles.
Roll percentiles.
It goes through his eye.
Through his eye.
9.
Nice. Okay.
Maybe his family line ends as well.
So-
'cause he's dead.
Your arrow enters the bridge of the Siabran's nose through, like directly through the mask. It just goes chunk, and it buries itself into their skull. They fall backwards, dead long before they strike the ground, as he falls prostrate onto the left and is slain. The Siabran is slain.
And 5.
So that brings us to
That's my
Warren, whose lineage has been ended by the ill intentions of her magics.
Man, Warren just gives you.
Will Warren wrestle control from her?
forward.
No, he's not in a state that he can really do much at this point.
So she's still in control?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so she remembers she is back here. Harper is in a very delicate position lying on the ground beside you. And the Siabran is looming over him and you on the stairs, but you can see that the wooden mask kind of turns and looks down toward Warren with the strange tongue with the many eyes upon it carved into the mask made of ivory and brass. What are you going to do?
Well, sorry, Mike. She doesn't really care much for Harper.
That's fine by me.
That's going to be 6 corruption as she
Yeah.
leaves Harper to be potentially killed and gives into her own wiles. So what will you do? Sorry, 3 corruption. My apologies. Not 6. 3.
So she will.
Nick's like, damn. What else I gotta do? More.
She will go ahead and pull herself together and again attack with the bullwhip.
Okay. Your chances are challenging at the foot of the stairs.
Okay.
Sanguine
channel
Legion,
power?
it. Do it.
Yeah, I'll channel power.
How many steps?
3.
All of it, Frank.
Oof. Okay, so remember, when you channel power, that's 3 corruption.
Mhm.
You gain.
There's that last
Let's clarify here. So how many corruption do we gain when we channel power, according
1,
to
2, or 3.
1, 2, or 3. Okay, so 3 corruption is how much you gain immediately by channeling power.
Right.
And let's go ahead and roll your test. Let's make your test now not standard, not routine, but easy.
Okay, so I am ignoring 1 skill rank.
Okay.
This is simple melee, so typically that would be a 58. Easy will make that a 78.
Nice. Okay.
No 6s, rolled a 41, so that's a success.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
Or wait, you don't roll damage on this, do you? I think that you just determine entangling or...
Yeah.
It's entangling, so you want to
Yeah,
chokehold or
choke
takedown?
Chokehold.
Okay. They fail on that too,
Uh-huh.
and they're already suffering from very serious penalties. So, 25% chance success. Flip failed. 87. You grab the Siabran immediately in a chokehold, and they drop their own bullwhip. The interloper, the Siabran interloper, drops her bullwhip, and you immediately do 1d10 plus your broad bonus and damage, if I'm not mistaken.
That will be 15 damage.
15 physical peril. Even.
Peril, yeah, 15 peril.
As the bullwhip snaps around the Siabran's neck, remember, this Siabran is already suffering -2 skill ranks because they'd been choked before. So she snaps around the Siabran's neck, and you can see the mask is like fastened into the flesh, and you pull it toward you, and it's unconscious right now. It's not moving. She's not moving. What will you do?
I've got, what, 1 action left?
That's right.
Okay. That's not enough to do coup de grace.
Absolutely it is.
It is? Okay, we'll
It
do
is.
that then.
Explain what happens. You've got so remember, you've got at this point you've got the bullwhip around her neck. You're face to face with the brass and ivory mask, and you've pulled it almost face to face, nose to nose, close to you. What would happen?
She will pull the Siabran in closer and closer and say, let's see what's beyond that mask, and just pulls
Okay.
it ever tighter.
Okay. As
As it starts to like break the skin around the veins in its neck.
there's a snapping sound around the throat as the Siabran's body falls slack, no longer moving. You peel the mask off.
Mm-hmm.
As you peel the mask away, there is this pit, this emptiness, this hole into another world. There is no face beyond the mask, but the well of souls. You can feel it calling to her. You can feel this darkness all-encompassing. You can feel this disembodied spirit that's somehow still alive on the edge of reality, calling, and it calls her name. And her name is Lilith. You must attempt an arduous resolve test for her to keep control of war.
Okay. It's gonna be, let's see here. 54, 49.
So she hears this whisper this name.
Come on. We all float down here.
Okay. 38. 30, that's a success.
Somehow, Lilith, you may now fill in her name on your character sheet, takes control. Wrestles control of Warren away from him and drops the Siabran to the ground. And now we turn to the last Siabran, the final one that is alive. From where you're at, from where Eugene is at, the Siabran immediately takes its whip and snaps it toward you.
Dodge!
I dodge.
Dodge with my face.
I dodge!
Wait,
Ow!
I dodge with my face.
I block with my face! It's a
Um,
shield!
His chance to strike is 55.
Okay.
I rolled a 60. Unfortunately, that one fails. And then she will try once more.
Yeah.
Remember, we're using our house rule
Bring
where we will determine where if you fail your first test, you could attack. You try it again. It's internal sense, but in more difficult rating. So it's now. I said 50 last time. It's now 40. 92. Realizing the Siabran has failed, she reaches over and pulls a lever, and then it begins to descend, giving you an opportunity attack as she descends down into the red embers down below.
Could I, instead of an opportunity attack, leap aboard and go with?
Absolutely, you can, Eugene.
I'm gonna take that moment to leap onto the lift.
So Eugene leaps onto the lift
Well done.
and disappears down below into
You appreciate that.
the darkness, and you lose sight of Eugene. All falls silent in the halls as the small, tiny bodies of the children are in the other chambers. You're catching your breath, trying to breathe, trying to make sense of what happened.
No guys! It's the last thing I
Eugene
heard.
Thornberry disappears down into the tunnels below.
Elisa,
What the fuck? You hear Terwin say.
Elisa
still
grabs up the
unexpected this, oh
lantern.
God.
Right? Elisa grabs up her lantern and gets far, far away from the gunpowder.
Throws it into the gunpowder.
Damn it, Eugene!
You can hear the lift descend until it stops somewhere down below.
Harper would get up and join the rest of them. What the hell's going on here?
Eugene just went down with one of them. We've got to go.
Well, it was nice knowing him.
What?
I'll pray for him. I'm kidding. I don't know what the hell to do. We know how this thing works.
We ring the bell, but they send it up.
But there was a lever. Maybe if you move the lever a different way, it comes back up.
Will you go over to the left?
Yeah, Elisa does.
I'll see my ward, as I'll have to go back and.
I'll head towards the lift, but I'm going to pick up one of those fancy new bullwhips they have.
Okay. The bullwhip appears to be nothing more than a standard bullwhip with flechettes on it. Will offer you no additional benefit save for the fact that it is castle forged.
Badass.
What?
Their ability to do
Whipping
damage
key.
with the whip is not due to the whip itself, but these whips are castle forged, and they seem to be wrought of what looks like hair has been woven together, and within that hair there are these kind of bits of metal that are intertwined with it They look almost ritualistic. It looks almost like a barbed whip. You can imagine like a demon or something like that. But it's made from the hair of people, and it's woven together with little flechettes of metal until you reach the tip, where there's this kind of small iron ball with spikes, tiny little knobs on it.
I've got 2 Siabran weapons.
So mark down a Siabran bullwhip on your character sheet, and its traits, its qualities are the same, save for the fact that it is castle forged.
Cool. Above board, if I walk the lamp by the gunpowder, it's not gonna blow up, right?
No.
All right.
There's not fumes. So
Just don't drop the lamp.
Don't light a torch.
Well, I'm not gonna light a torch.
I don't think anyone had a torch. In fact,
I have torches, but
I have them in my pack.
That's
I don't
right.
have one lit.
That's right.
Yeah, same.
So
Same, because you warned us.
That's right. So
Yeah.
you hustle toward the lift, and you could hear these kind of this almost like the cavern is like digesting something below. It's kind of a rhythmic sort of sound. The earth seems to almost kind of rumble with this constant slow low vibration that you felt when you were nearing Professor Hofstorf's quarters. You're getting the same sense of like confusion, like the air is a little strange, the shadows aren't quite right, the ground seems to be kind of rumbling, not moving, but nothing's really, you can't visibly see it rumbling. It just feels like the whole place is like almost like it's slowly breathing. You look down toward the foot of down below, and you can see there's this kind of like hellish red and orange light coming from a tunnel deeper within, but you cannot see Eugene, and you cannot see the Siabran.
How far down is it?
30 feet. It's a drop.
Elisa tries
That's 1d10 plus a ton of damage.
Elisa tries to mess with the lever and see if
Okay.
like pushing it up potentially like starts anything or seems to engage anything.
The whole thing begins to kind of lift. Clunk, and it comes into place.
And no Eugene, no Siabran.
No.
We have to go down.
Yeah, leaving ourselves exposed behind. Should we even attempt to see where that other path goes? You're right. Eugene is already. He is an Alora Knight, isn't he?
I mean, you got kind of a point there. I mean, but it looked more like a secret door, so maybe it's not a. Maybe it's not a way that they normally travel. But
Maybe we're keeping ourselves this way, but to be honest, he has thrown himself in harm's way multiple times now to try to save us. Alora Knight or not, I don't give a fuck at this point.
Oh, that was just a joke anyway. But yes, let's go after the madman who would jump on a lift by himself with the Siabran.
So, you leap onto the lift, but we're going to rewind just a few moments before. As on the lift, there is a pitched battle. As you leap onto... Get him! You leap onto it, and as you hop onto it, let's see if you hold your weapon as it descends as you jump onto it. So, you need to roll a hard coordination test
Oh,
to avoid taking falling damage.
baby. I'm bad at these. Oh, I'm real bad at these. No, 22.
No!
Critical fail.
Whoa!
Gene is, if you remember right, has garbage stats. I already spent all this.
You used all your
could
own.
use
Garbage
yours
stat
in
lines.
his movie.
And hard is a negative 20, which puts me in a 19 success.
Oh.
oh man,
You might be able
So as Eugene drops down
Critical fail.
onto the platform,
to be back.
there's nothing else to roll at this point. Eugene, you feel these arms wrap around you almost twice. And you can smell this strange musk coming off of this Siabran, like the smell of like a spent match and rotten eggs and the smell of flesh. Like a hot dog smell. It smells like white people. White dog.
Ranch?
Ranch. That's right.
Ranch?
And you're being drug at this
hot
point.
dog and Doritos.
Weapon left in your wake because you fell. Drug through this cavern, and as you kind of look around, like trying to gain sense of what's going on, you can see these fashioned stone pillars that are not just timber, but they kind of are made of stone, and they kind of wind their way up as they're supporting like this arched cavern. And it's like there's cavern walls and like there's vaulted ceilings of stone and rock. And you can see that there are tracks. You can feel your boots kind of dump, 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 kind of against every single trestle you're being drug against. But you've been overpowered by the Sea Obryn. And the Sea Obryn's dragging you forward and pulls you through like this pool of water and then over these rocks and then drops you prostrate in the middle of this chamber. And as you're dropped in the middle of the chamber, this boot is pressed to your chest. And as you're kind of looking around, you hear this ticking and whirring coming from behind you, and your eyes kind of looking backwards. You crane your head backwards. You can see what looks like a massive pipe organ made of brass with these huge fluted pipes that kind of extend out like an octopus, like in these perfect, like 90-degree angles. And they seem to emanate from this very strange, the best way to describe it's this indescribable piece of machinery made of wood and brass handles, and there's this like strange scrolling paper that's ticking with these little cutouts in it, and he goes,
I take it this is the difference machine.
yeah, it's like almost like a ticker tape, but it's like these broad sheets that's like spitting out these kind of like almost binary codes like punched into it. That's kind of spitting out, and you can see this other person walking, and as this other person is walking, your eyes widen as you see with every step that they take, their boots are smoldering. And it smells absolutely horrendous. The smell you've never even smelled before. It's like some terrible smell from not of this world. And this person who's bearing a mask and holding this crooked old wooden cane that seems to be made of petrified rock kind of taps on the machine and then says something in a tongue that is so vile it's an affront to your ears. It's a tongue you cannot even begin to understand or really intuit at this point. And then you hear this sound coming from above. We now turn back to everybody else as you descend down into this cavern. And we're going to take a quick break for a moment so we can lay out the battlefield. So we're back for Queen of Embers, and we recall where we left off. The platform is descending down into the depths of the lower mines, and it's here as the platform drops to the ground that you can see all of these fuses running along the wall, little metal kind of clamps holding them in place, and there's gunpowder everywhere, and the fuses actually wind their way up the tunnel above, and you didn't see it because the light was so dim, but now you realize you weren't stepping over ropes, you were stepping over fuses up above. The fuses for all the gunpowder throughout the entire thing appears to be rigged. And as you come to the bottom of this of where the lift stops, you see this long cavernous hallway with these huge vaulted ceilings in fashioned stone pillars, and these pillars are burning with this strange kind of ember between the mortar. Like the light's coming from between the mortars, like its light's trying to reach out from somewhere, and it kind of casts this kind of hellish orange and red light everywhere, and you get this really bad sinking feeling, Harbor, as you step down here. This place appears to be an affront to everything that is right in the world.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Do they see my gear? Know that I am lost?
As you look around on the floor, and you find that your lantern is sputtering. Like it's sputtering, and it's vying against this encroaching darkness. Like it's not penetrating this veil that seems to kind of linger in the air. Is the best way to describe it. It almost feels like the air has a weight to it. And you can see lying at the foot of where the lift ends is his sword. His rapier is lying on the ground.
I would also, just for clarification for my survival, my lantern shield as well, I'm assuming?
That's right. In his lantern shield, the lantern is extinguished. Fortunate, given that there's a barrel of gunpowder nearby and a fuse right where the lantern shield dropped. Like the light's not going any further than literally within it goes 6 yards. So be sure to mark that your lantern has a range of 6 yards. This will be very important. Anybody else have any other light?
We had the 2 lights. That's why we only had.
Who has the other light?
It was the shield.
The shield was the other light.
So there's not much light down here now.
Well, I can light a lantern, but I don't know how close I am to fuses and barrels and.
The whole place looks like it's rigged to blow.
Is there?
And even the light that she's holding does not appear to be enough. Like it's literally fighting against the darkness.
I'll light.
It's
my
the
lantern
strangest thing.
as well.
Elisa's gonna pick up his shield.
Okay.
Is there any?
I want to examine.
I don't
this.
have a scabbard or anything.
That's what
Put it throw back.
So, Eugene's not here, so Eugene cannot participate.
I want to take a look at the wiring and see if I can make any heads or tails of it. If I have any ideas on how to disable it, anything like that.
Well, it's not just one fuse; it's a multitude of fuses. It looks like that what they had done is this cavern was probably rigged to be opened up at some point, and it emerged into some other place. Like it's clear that this has been, all these fuses are running along the walls, the ceiling, everywhere. They're everywhere. I mean, it'd be you wouldn't even know where to begin to disable this unless you rolled a secret skullduggery test.
I mean, it might not. It's secret, but
Secret.
Could
I
I
have a
assist
feeling-
while I'm looking around?
I have a feeling this is going to be a bit too confusing. Alright. Secret, scrutinize, or skullduggery, sorry.
Skullduggery.
Alright, so normally I have a 40.
That's the joke I was trying to go for.
And I rolled a 90.
Oof.
Confused.
So the two of them were
That's
kind of
an
looking.
09.
The
That's
two
an
of them were looking at the fuses, trying to make sense of what's going on. And what were you going to do? My apologies, Banneker.
I was going to ask her. Do you have any idea what this is? Should we cut these things or not? Because she's the only one that I would think might have an idea from her background.
I got nothing.
That was my plan. Because
And she looks at there's so many of them. I mean, if you were to cut one, it seems like there'd be 5 different places. Even if you cut 5, there's 10 to replace those. I don't
know then. That was just a quick question.
One word comes to Lilith's mind: Hydra. This thing reminds you of a Hydra. So many ropes and cables. You can't even distinguish between fuse and rope.
Can someone pick up his weapon? I can't hold that and the lantern.
Sure, I'll put my bow on my shoulder, pull my sword, and pick up his rapier.
As you are lying on the ground in front of this strange machine, the figure with the smoldering boots leans over and raises a single finger with a thimble upon it and goes. And as he says this kind of wind seems to pass beneath the mask and kind of goes into your throat, but you cannot resist being hushed. You will be hushed for a number of minutes. So that works off.
I'm gonna look up at the hushed building.
Somewhere in the caverns above, you hear the mewing of a child. And the mewing stops.
From above?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, like, what else is in the room that we can see?
Well, there's this long tunnel, and you could hear this sound. And it reminds you of the sound that you heard in the difference engine. It has to be the difference engine.
All right. We'll head that direction.
As you begin kind of moving that way, this whole place opens up to this series of chambers. And it looks like the manufactory of like some insane engineer. A large furnace is breathing green fire at a distant wall. Large wooden tables are covered in line with strange apparatuses and strange mechanical constructions. The difference engine is against the wall, facing you between these 2 huge stone pillars, ticking and whirring and spitting out this long ream of paper on the ground that's spilling forth into this box. And immediately, Elisa, you see down a nearby tunnel, there's a table with this huge, what Lois looks like the same model of Durendal you saw before.
Oh, great. They also moved the...
You can see there's a single lamp sitting beside it, and it's the only reason you know it's there because your lantern light won't penetrate the darkness as far away as it is. But you can see a lantern glowering beside it, sputtering as if it's fighting against the light as well. This is all very strange.
Moved everything from the Da Vinci house, all the research, all the... Great. And she's gonna look around to see if she can notice any drag marks or anything from maybe where they might have dragged Eugene across the floor.
It's going to be a secret survival test. You're looking across the earth where your footfalls have fallen and everything else.
38 and I have a 42.
You want to keep that?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't really make heads or tails, but then again, you weren't really looking for when you first came down here. But what you do notice is something else is different about that model on that table. Something is very different. You can see these 3 green rods, but it's too far away to look unless you come closer.
I don't know. Does anyone have any idea where he is? Any idea where to look? I mean, we've got that map over there we can look at.
We're just going to have to press forward. Have both lights in the front So we see more.
Will you move toward the inky black darkness to your right, or will you move toward the chamber that's covered in darkness with the lantern in the middle of in the model of the city?
Towards the inky darkness.
What would be your answer? Anyone have anything to weigh in? Me personally, I'd like to see what else is down here. If we can't find Eugene right off the bat, we don't know which way to go.
I know Taryn would want us to find the children.
They're back up.
It sounded like is one of them. Don't think we should split. Last time we split, it didn't work well.
Oh no, that seems terrible, but
Let's just move forward and try and find Eugene.
Then to the left.
I'll
So
follow your
into the
lead.
darkness or toward the table is the question.
It's all the same.
Toward the table.
Let's go towards the table then. Sure, let's do that.
You move into this very large room, and you can see that there are book racks in here and standing stone pillars, and light is coming from between the mortar, casting a strange orange hellish glow. And across the table, you see what looks like a rough estimation of what Durendal would look like based on its districts, based on where you'd been before. Do you recognize landmarks? But toward the northmost part, in both the east and the west part, there are these three green stone shapes, like these kind of smooth idols. And atop each idol is a tiny piece of glass affixed into it.
Does it match the tower that I found back at the La Vinci house as one of my clues?
You pull the tower out of your pocket because you took it,
Yes, it did.
and you remove the green piece with the piece of glass under the lens on top of it, and you place it inside, and it fits perfectly. This must be situated where the Belgard towers are. Not only that, your eyes, Harper, turn toward these strange chalk lines actually on the table. And you can see they're arranged in a strange diagram, in a large triangle, in a circle, and then another circle around that, and these symbols kind of written within it.
Yeah, I want to take my time and study that. See what I can make of it.
It's clearly some sort of rite. You don't know what it is, but you know that just based on the words that it seems to be in the tongue of ancient Ald. It seems to be of a conjuring type, a conjuring tongue, if you will. Nothing that you would find in the Libram, but it is in the old tongue. And you are still emergent in your understanding, but you in some sense kind of felt the same touch perhaps that the paladin did in the latter part of his years. He had spent many years warring and fighting, and at some point or another he had felt the calling. And this feels like something that's an affront against it. This does not feel as of the martyr.
No.
It is not the makings of any god you know.
Elisa's gonna pull back the tower that she has and then continue walking through looking for other signs of Eugene.
As you begin walking through this large cavern, you hear this sound behind you. And suddenly, at the far, far end, beyond the difference machine and the darkness, you hear this kind of blazing sound, and you can see these 5 vents of green light burning inside of a huge chamber, and standing in front of the chamber is this frighteningly tall, defiant person, and they're wearing this mask that looks like a massive open maw, and they're holding in their hand a long ashen stick. It looks like it's of petrified wood, and at the foot of this thing, along with a wounded Siabran interloper, is Eugene. They see you without a doubt. They're at the far, far end of this chamber. at the farthest end. And the only reason you can't see the light is you can go that direction. It's just there's another mote of light out in the darkness.
So basically, we see them because of the green flame.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
All
right.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
That's right.
So when they see us, what do?
They are standing as if they're watching or observing, waiting to see what happens. The Siabran who you had wounded, who is, I believe, I'm not mistaken, seriously wounded, is nursing their wound, still holding their arm, and is the one with the boot on top of Eugene. You see Eugene's mouth moving, but there's no sound. He's flailing wildly, but there's no words coming from his mouth.
Elisa calls out, "Do you speak the common tongue?"
You call out
As I see it.
the words, and you can see that the person on the far end of the chamber takes a couple steps forward, and you hear this tack of the ashen rod against the stone, and it kind of echoes like tick, 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 tick. And there is this pinch of something that he drops in the air almost like in a ritualistic fashion. And as this happens, you must immediately attempt a scrutinized test to resist this magic. This test for you will be standard.
Okay. My scrutinize is a E62. A 44 will do it.
Okay.
44 will do what?
Succeed.
You feel as if you're about to be
Critically
drawn to
succeed.
your knees by some gravitational force, as if your legs were made of metal, and you're to be drawn down to your knees to subjugate yourself or to supplicate yourself before this Siabran. The best way to describe it is a demon smith, because you can see a single kind of iron hammer in his waist and the strange machinery and engineering that's in here. But you are not persuaded as such. You fight. You can feel this magic, and you fight against it.
You critically succeeded.
I did.
That matters.
In fact, it will magic because it will matter because what we're going to allow you to do in the future for your success is will allow you to auto succeed to resist magic once.
Nice.
And I will hand you this
Get out of jail free card.
Right. So you see this. You all see what's happening at this point. And Eugene is struggling and no words are coming out of his mouth at all.
Elisa kind of shakes herself and she looks across. Oh, you thought I was that easy, did you? Do you speak my tongue?
The demon smith begins to move forward. Slowly but surely, leaving Eugene and the other Siabran in his wake. And as he walks, you can see this, like, smoke rising with every footfall. And you can see his hand has this strange burning ember kind of look like imagine, like, hardened magma. And, like, the light between the hardened magma is red, and the magma is black. His hand is literally smoldering around the stick. As he's moving very slowly through the inky black darkness toward you. He does not respond, but he, assume it's a he. But the Siabran demon smith is coming toward you and closing the distance at a fairly fastidious pace. But calmly walking forward.
What's on this table thing again? Is it? Can I turn the table over?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I will turn the table over.
Vader goes over and grabs the table and flips it. The entirety of the diorama falls over to the ground, as you throw it. It just scatters everywhere,
It's truly Lego.
and the demon smith at this point kind of stops dead in his tracks, and he grabs the staff by both hands, and as he lifts it up in the air with both, one of his hands is smoldering, and we will begin combat. So,
Cover's like, I was reading that.
in order for us to
true.
proceed forward, we are going to need to first reveal the battle map. Contained underneath, I will need Nick and Kay's help. Please lift gently up and over, and I will place the figures, and we will see what happens. So everybody grab. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, take your way.
Boy, you like.
Oh, that goes away, right? Oh, is this still... Are your pluses still in effect?
Huh?
Is a new combat.
Yeah, no.
So, this right here is where we're going to put Eugene on the ground between the pillars. We will put the wounded Ciabran, the interloper, by the pillar. We will put on the table across the way, which we need to move now.
Let's save some initiative for the rest of us.
Should be...
I don't even know why I roll.
I tried your pacifism thing. It
The
doesn't
table-
seem to work.
is right here.
To each their own. I don't judge.
We'll put your characters roughly here. Who will be behind the table? Just quick.
I just threw it over for cover for that exact reason.
Okay. So we'll assume since you did it, we'll assume that you're the only one there right now. You're all kind of scattered. Who do you think was closest to the difference engine?
I was trying to read this stuff on the
that'd be
table,
me.
so I'd have been
Okay.
What's closest to the difference in you?
You aren't.
You
were.
over there.
Where do you... So...
I might have been close to the difference engine if it's near the front.
Yep. Right there. And we're going to actually open the difference engine up. Right here.
It's an armoire of holding.
We're using an armoire because it's the best figure placement. And then... we need...
The demons
the
were...
Demon Smith. Here. Okay, so I want you to remember that the distance for your lantern is only 6 yards. At 7 to 12 yards, it is fleeting shadows, and at 18 plus, pitch black darkness. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so he holds the staff up in the air. We need to roll. I guess we're gonna roll initiative. So, we get some initiative cards for them first off. Okay. Rolling now. They already have their initiative already rolled.
Yep.
They're all
Would you
over
give me a
there.
paper towel real quick, please? Or something to wipe something off? Actually, I think we... Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed. Yeah, so, with that, apologies, I'm going to take care of this real quick. Everybody have kind of their... Take assessment of where your current damage and peril conditions are at.
Oh yeah.
This will be important, obviously.
Hate it.
No, I hate how the chair bends back so far.
I thought you liked sitting like that.
No, I don't.
See, mine doesn't fit at all.
No, mine.
What do you do to adjust it? Oh, there we go. I can sit. Oh, that thing. Okay.
Go forward. Go back, go forward. Which way do you want to go?
I like it like this.
Okay.
Yeah, mine doesn't fit at all.
Okay.
I don't like leaning that far. No.
Okay, so I've got my initiative. Will everybody have their cards to me, please?
In order.
I think so.
Okay. So, new combat. So, Banneker. Not surprising. We're just arranging initiative
Banneker.
cards real quick
Better.
up on the Game Master screen.
20 plus every time now. Get out of here.
I even rolled 10.
I know. Well,
Okay.
I did.
Unsurprising. Is this Harper right here?
Yeah, I have 10.
Okay, cool.
I'm at the end. I'm always at the end.
So, looking at initiative right now, we're going to have up first. It is going to be Banneker.
All right, I am going to use gain insight on this crazy flaming creature thing.
Okay, so the first thing you have to know about the Siabra Demon Smith is that they are in fact a humanoid.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I have
Warfare.
warfare. I just remembered I took it last time.
Yep. So,
actually, no, I
in order to reveal a trait, you need to make a challenging warfare test.
Challenging warfare. I don't have warfare. I did not take it last time. I can't remember what I took. Wait. Challenging warfare. Well, it's going to be a 93 flip to fail, right? Because it's a specialized skill.
Yeah.
That's fucking bad.
So you don't gain insight right now, but you can attempt again until you succeed. Remember
No,
that.
that's pointless.
So you look at this. This thing appears to be inscrutable from the distance from where you're at. Remember, you're back here behind the table. It's all the way down, and the light that Elisa carrying us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're on the very edge. There's darkness behind you.
He's got a lantern too.
You got a light too.
And
Oh,
then
nice.
the table had light too.
Yeah.
So what will you do?
I only have one left. I thought that would be a smart thing to do here, but
Not a bad idea.
I am going to knock an arrow.
Okay. So you
You taking it?
well, hold on. Let's be clear here. You deflect the table with both hands, so you probably need to arm your weapon.
Okay.
Although I think what we'll do is we're gonna rewind just for a moment. No, remember at the beginning of your turn, if you don't have a weapon out, you can draw one for free. So we'll just assume you did.
Okay.
So
I'll draw for
you
free
can-
and
you
knock.
can- that's perfect. So you can do that. So that resolves since Banneker shot first ability. Now Banneker steeples it as your normal turn.
I will use take him down, and I am going to take him down.
Okay. Standing directly in front of you, in between you and them, is our friends and companions. So what's the distance on your weapon first off?
16.
16. Okay.
It's short.
So
It's
it'll
short.
be in short distance, but it is going to be a hard test. You have a lot of things in front of you at this point, and the tunnels are low.
Okay.
One could say that in these tunnels, medium and long distance do not apply because the tunnels are so low.
Because my sniper rifle.
Oh, that's right. Pew! So go ahead and make your test. It is going to be hard from this distance.
Okay. That is a 45. 35 is a success.
Okay.
Boys.
So it's going to attempt to resist,
Save.
which is not. It's not flip to fail. So is it coordination? Is that right?
Take down. Hold on, I haven't looked at it in a while.
I think it's coordination.
It's coordination.
Okay, thank you.
It's a
I
75%
have mine
chance
to
of
the back.
success.
Boys.
90.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the Siabran Demon Smith is taken off of its feet. So, what will you do now, Banneker?
I have 2 left. I will
2 left.
2
Okay.
AP left.
2 AP.
Okay.
I will draw and I will fire again at it on the
Load
ground.
and
Okay. This will be
Load and
this will
fire.
be a challenging test.
Yes, it will.
Do not crit fail.
Challenging. Okay, so that's a 55,
Yes.
and I crit fail.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Do you have an oath?
you got any of these?
No.
Oh no. Well, the good thing. I should say the good thing. The bad
man.
thing is that right as you kind of take
Only.
aim at this point, someone moves in your way. We don't know which of the 3 friends do it, however. So we're going to choose 1, 2, 3, who is going to be Lilith. 4, 5 is Harper, and 6 will be Elisa. So who do you strike? Roll
What the
D6 chaos
chaos.
die.
4.
Okay.
Harper.
As you turn, you're like, oh!
Something.
For a moment, the light blinds. It blinds Banneker. Roll damage.
You know, it's probably my fault
9
because
points.
when I said that, like,
That's
hey, I was
good.
trying to read that, I probably like blinded you.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So you took 9 points of damage.
Oh God. I am now moderately wounded.
Okay, roll 1d6 chaos die.
God.
Oh, no injuries. That's good. Okay. So Banneker is done. So Warren, or
So
Lilith,
everything
I
good
should
about
say.
that just got wiped.
What is Lilith doing? You were standing in front of the table here, and you can see at the far end, you can see the Demon Smith is on the ground.
I will make my way towards the Demon Smith.
Okay. So using a hustle?
Yes.
Okay.
Movement of 9.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
And you move forward over this fallen rock, these pools of water, and that's 1 action point.
Okay.
What will you do
I
now?
will close the distance.
Okay. So
with a second hustle.
okay. So 1, 2, 3. And as you come down here, you see something not too far from where you're at. There are these concentric circles that have been carved into the floor, into the stone, and there's this single shard of witch stone affixed in the center of it. And there's this strange green smoldering coming off of it. And there are these tiny licks of flame, almost look like fireflies burning within the smoldering smoke. You're kind of immediately turned toward it. And as you do, what will you do?
I'm going to pick up the Demon Smith and toss him in the circle.
Okay.
Oh God.
You lift the Demon Smith to his feet and shove him that direction. So he's attempting to overpower you, of course. The Demon Smith is considerably taller than you, but you did pick him up off the ground. So go ahead and roll. We're going to make a contested roll, or an opposed roll. It's going to be a trivial athletics test.
Okay.
Mine is a 45, 75% for me. Roll 98.
Trivial? Okay.
Trivial. I
That's a
failed.
90% chance to succeed. And I rolled 34. Success.
Nice. You pick up the Demon Smith and you shove him. What's your brawn bonus?
11.
Oh Jesus Christ.
So that's 2 yards.
Through the wall?
1, 2. So you shove him toward the circle, and then you hear this sort of sound as he is thrown into the circle. He still has a stick in hand. Sure, you don't lose your weapons when you were dropped to the ground.
Okay. That's all 3 action points.
Okay.
I took him down. He does lose his weapon.
No,
No,
you don't leave
not
your weapons
takedowns.
anymore when you take down.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was really annoying because then you had to pick up your weapons and stand up for 2.
Yeah.
Just get chained.
Yeah.
So, but a choke still makes you drop your weapons?
Choke does because you have to escape. Yeah. So, if you attempt to escape, for that matter, at the point where you try to escape, you drop your weapon. Not immediately, you drop it after you try to escape.
Okay.
So, you throw the Demon Smith, and it is its turn into the circle, and there is this sound. You see the kind of mask moving, but you don't see words coming from it as it takes the stick and taps it twice in the circle and lifts it into the air. And then suddenly, as this happens, he will then hustle back to the corner, and in its place comes this frighteningly tall monster of smoke and shadow that looks like some long, visceral, bird-like thing. And the smell of the reek emanates everywhere in this chamber as the shadow monsters from the island coalesce in to the circle.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm on the ground with a foot on my chest and a pillar between me and the reek. I still don't believe.
I don't believe you! As the Shadow Swarm is now in initiative. As
Pick one
plus-
Yay!
per person.
Plus,
Is that your per height choose? You eat one per person in the initiative.
Yeah.
By the round.
Just getting into it, man.
Okay.
so the Demon Smith brings one of these Shadow Swarm forth, and the smell of the reek just fills the entire chamber. And you're brought back to the time of the Lonely Island with the strange, lingering dark fog that kind of almost inky in the air, if you recall, and the smell that kind of emanated from amid the dark pit, and the circle that you had seen on the ground with the key in the middle of it, and you see the single shard of witchstone just kind of boom evaporates into particles, and it displaces whirling black and green swarm of darkness. And the swarm is so whirling so high, it kind of licks off the ceiling of the thing. It was like a fountain of water that reaches those ceilings, kind of sputters over, dropping to the ground, and it's kind of spinning like a violent tornado of this kind of vulture-like bird thing as it's alive, and it is going to be on the move soon. So, the Demon Smith's turn is now over. And it's going to be Elisa's turn.
Alright. Elisa is going to attempt to figure out what the hell that thing is from Gain Insight, because last time one killed her.
Oh, Elisa, you have no line of sight in there because you
is there
are
a wall?
blocked. That's right, you're blocked by a wall. All you know is something is happening in there, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
we have
didn't know
to.
that was a
yeah.
full wall.
over there.
This is the tough part about like when we make the transition between abstraction
Yeah.
and in combat. You're going to have to keep in mind our lines of sight, and unfortunately,
That's fine.
you were blocked from where you're at unless you were to take a few. But you know something's going on. You can take a hustle forward to try and then gain insight.
Okay, I still trying to do Gain Insight on the Demon Speaker.
You can't see him.
Okay, so even though I saw him
Threw him in the-
previously,
Nope.
so it doesn't
No,
matter.
you need to be able to see something clearly
Okay.
to be able to intuit something about it. I think in fact it says it at the very bottom of gain insight. If it doesn't, it should. But yes, you need to see the thing to gain insight against it.
Can't take it if you're under stress, fear, or terror. Furthermore, if you are unable to
See them
foe
clearly in order to gain youth. Okay. So she would move forward.
Okay. So how far do you want to hustle forward?
She would move forward over the rubble.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 over the rubble. Do you want to go any further?
Can I now see? Well, can I see this?
You can absolutely see both the shadow swarm from the island that took your life, but it took your life before. It took away a few years at least, and you could see the Demon Smith as well, against the nearby wall.
And having run into it before, she's going to have probably tried to look through books occasionally to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so first you immediately intuited supernatural. So in order to gain insight against it, what skill test will it require?
education.
Okay, you've
that space.
been affected by these things. These things took you to the very brink of the well.
Yes.
So I think this test will be easy for
Me
you.
too. I lost brawn too.
Now I'd use fate point.
Yeah.
Was it these are things that suck the brawn out of us,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, but no.
Oh no, that
No,
was
these are the bird face. The bird things that have the human faces, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which are the thing on the island that killed Lisa and wasted my first
Right.
fate point.
So it is an easy test for you.
Easy. Okay. I have 2 points in education, but I'm ignoring one skill rank right now. So 53 with an easy 60, 73. 59 will do it.
Nice. As you come around the corner with the lamp in hand, you see that the shadow swarm urges back. It retreats a little bit from the light. As you realize that if you were to take aim for 2 AP to shine light against it, it would reduce its damage threshold.
Ooh.
But you must take aim to do so. Now, that is the first thing that you learn. If you're to see it, a different story. All right, so that is Elisa's turn. Eugene, you're on the ground. You feel the boot of the Siabran wounded, seriously wounded, on top of you. You can't say any words. You've been magically hushed.
I'm going to mouth something over at, I see Warren. I'm going to mouth something at you. And then at the start of my turn, I'm going to reach inside my jacket and pull out the stiletto I took off the Major Domo. And stab into the leg of this guy as well.
Love it. I think we can consider this probably a trivial test.
Yeah.
Good, because I'm garbage with the stiletto. So I'm gonna stab.
Are you gonna stab him in the foot?
I'm gonna stab him right in the leg.
He totes doesn't see it.
He totes doesn't see it. 45 success.
Nice. Roll damage and add an additional d6.
Because I want him to defeat him.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, this is why I'm gonna roll terribly. Oh, but I got a 6.
Whoa!
11, 12, 13, 14. 19 points of damage. It's like, what is a stolen stiletto to this guy?
So, as you stab the stiletto into the Siabran, roll percentiles. Let's see exactly how he is slain.
24.
Nice. You stab up into the leg and kind of climb your way up, almost like a ladder as you stab it, then into the hip, and then finally into the belly of the foe, disemboweling it. Fighting for air, the stomach cavity opens and closes with every breath, appearing like a grim smile as they fall face first to the ground. Ugh, I've forgotten about these tables, and they are lovely. So, the good thing is that you have now removed the final Siabran interloper from
Dirty interloper.
the combat, which is probably good.
Yeah.
So the next question is
For my remaining 2 AP,
Get up.
I'm going to
stand
get up because I'm not trained in coordination, and I'm going to turn and look at this horrible other Siabran that shushed me. I'm going to mouth the words, "You're next," and hold this stiletto.
as you can see something behind the pillar, but you can't see it clearly.
I see him.
But you're looking toward the Demon Smith, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you turn
that's
toward the
what
Demon
I'm
Smith and you
threatening.
do what now?
I mouth the words, "You're next."
Okay.
Because I can't say it.
The Demon Smith.
Hold the stiletto.
What
Yeah.
is
Is your Zweihander curse?
this? He does the.
What?
Say what? Your Zweihander curse. No one can understand what you say.
No, it's fine. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
joke. Never talk.
So,
Shadow.
with this, the Shadow Swarm flies through the air for 15.
The greatest of ease.
That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And
Holy man.
you may attempt opportunity attacks if you wish. First off, we will go for Lilith.
All right.
Lilith, make an opportunity attack with your bullwhip.
Okay. All right. So that will be. Let's see here.
Standard, right?
It's easy.
Okay. 50,
It's an opportunity attack.
Oh, opportunities are easy.
Yeah.
87. 17 success.
It snaps through the air as it does nothing to the smoke, save to slightly dissipate it. Would you like to make your opportunity attack?
All I have is a lantern shield and a lantern in hand.
That's right. You want
Can
to
I
make?
slam with a lantern shield?
Absolutely, you can.
Let's do that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
It is distracting and light.
So, it is a lantern shield is simple ranged. So a simple range, simple melee. My apologies.
I was
Simple
gonna say,
melee. Simple
I
melee.
throw it.
Roll to hit.
You're Captain America.
I am
Your
Captain
test is
America.
easy.
Easy. Okay. Simple melee. I have 62. -1 skill rank 52. So 72. 12 will do it.
As this happens, roll an easy scrutinize test. Remember, you're in the effects of drugs.
Hell yeah, I am. Scrutinize doesn't flip to succeed.
Can I re-roll that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Unless you have something else that allows you to.
No.
No, my flip to succeed is only charm or extra.
Okay.
Because I was shaken, not stirred. Hey, a 25 will do it though.
As this happens, True Detective kicks in. You gain insight once again.
Whoa.
This thing has a shadowed anatomy. It can only be harmed by light. Here is your insight. You may deal that damage as a lamp.
Lamp?
Yep.
Okay. So 1d10 plus
nice, there's a lamp
perception bonus. That's a 10, 19 damage.
Oh my goodness!
Wow. She swings the shield, realizing that the bullwhip did nothing. And as that does it, she looks toward the thing and she holds it aloft like Perseus went to the Medusa, and the light shines across the shadow swarm and they it begins to slowly, you see it kind of tearing apart the seams like reality, like almost like a terrible cloud, just kind of pulling and frayed away as is moderately wounded.
Damn.
It does not suffer injuries, however.
And she just, as it goes to pass, you can hear her, not again. She slams her shield into it. Huh.
So, as this happens, you hear the sound of like the air being sucked in the air, like, and that's the only thing that you hear as everyone in a burst template is struck. Remind me, burst is 9 yards every direction.
Sounds right.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. So everyone.
Including the demon.
What's that?
Including the demon
The
speaker?
demon smith?
Or demon smith.
Maybe. So, its chance to strike is going to be a 65, and I've lost my dice again. Its chance to strike is 65.
Is it against everyone?
Yes.
Okay. I guess my professional trait doesn't matter.
It's supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 65% chance to strike. That's a 19. The only thing you can do, you cannot dodge or parry it, but you may attempt to resist with toughness. So everyone can make a challenging toughness test.
Oh, shit. Toughness. 32.
Yeah, 32. 31!
That's what you get, pacifist.
You can see Harper kind of almost up in the air going, he's kind of drawn toward the thing like this, almost lifted off of his feet as his toes are literally off the ground, and his body is lifted prostrate as if he was like born to strappado. And you are drained of physical peril as you suffer. I'm gonna turn that to a phase 6.
Okay.
So 6,
Why is the
7. You suffer.
pacifist?
Is it a chaos die or a fury die?
It's fury dice.
Okay.
As you suffer 13 physical peril.
Okay. I am ignore 1 skill rank.
All right. The Shadow Swarm's turn is over, turning into Harper Claviger as he drops to his feet as you feel the light of the martyr drawn from you. Like literally pulled from your soul. What will you do? You are standing directly toe-to-toe engaged with the Shadow Swarm.
Tell you about the light.
Do you have a light?
I do have the lantern in my hand.
And Elisa would call out, attack it with your light. So.
Yeah, so Harper will, what he'll do is like he'll grab his holy symbol in one hand and he has the lantern in the other hand, and he's going to take aim for 2 at this thing. But he won't attack, but he'll just make it to where it's a lot easier for someone else to hit it.
Okay. What will you say as you raise the lantern and the light? With the lantern and the symbol?
You can try to take the martyr from me, but you cannot. I see that you fear the light, and rightly so. So why don't you go back to the shadows and the hells you came from?
Alright. So, as he takes aim, this thing must reduce its damage threshold by a -6 penalty for the next attack against it.
Yeah, so I will do that, and then I will bank my last AP.
Okay. Alright. So, that now brings us to new rolls. New rolls all around. And I had to re-roll 2 myself.
We're gonna predict that I go last. Yeah, I do.
What'd you get?
I got the same I got last time. I got a 10.
Beat me.
My 6 plus 4. Super high roller over here.
I got a 1
I
plus
can't-
8.
I can't even get a 10. I have a plus 12.
Okay.
I
Well,
will literally never go
Look
before
at the
Bannister.
Demon Smith first this time, then
I won't
Banneker,
either.
then the Shadow Swarm,
Wait.
then Warren.
He didn't write it on this side. It
Oh,
says
this side.
18 still on this
It's
side.
23, 21, 2018. Okay. 14, 10, 9. I mean, frankly, I think we just write it on one side anyhow, because only I need to see this. You just need your names on the front, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So, the Demon Smith's turn is... How soon is now? How can you say? Okay. The Demon Smith is all the way over here in the corner. And Eugene is right there. And I believe at this point...
I'm not scared of you.
Excuse me, you can't talk.
I'm not scared of
Hush.
Dan,
Hush.
specifically.
Oh, okay.
Hush, hush.
Those sound like famous last words.
Not scared.
Yep. So, the first thing it does is it will take a handful of ash and toss it into the air. And the ash will fall over the thing. It falls over his face, its shoulders, its chest, this gray ash. And you see him, he retches in place and wriggles as if he's being hurt by it as he suffers peril.
What a silly.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So it can disappear.
So it conducts some sort of strange sorcery, and as it does this, it will then begin to move. 1, 2, 3 into the circle. And for its final AP, you hear this tack, tack. Raises its staff in the air, and you see this burning green light coming from somewhere else. Down here.
I guess we gotta stop.
At the far, far end of where you would come in initially, where the lift had dropped, right along here. And you can see this burning green light once again at the far, far end. And as this happens, the furnace where you're at, Eugene, begins to burn violently. Very, very violently. As you could feel the heat coming off of it. Almost singeing your arm hairs, your eyebrows, your hairs, whatever it may be. Something bad is about to happen. And you can see that it stops, its turn is over. Banneker, what do you want to do?
I will drop my bow,
Okay.
pick up the lantern. It's right there next to me.
The lamp.
Lamp.
Mhm.
Sorry.
So,
I will. Since I watched her shine the light and attack
here's the
the
weapon stats
creature,
for a lamp.
I will do this. I will move up and do the same.
Okay. So it's 1 AP to grab the lamp. It's on the
Right.
ground. And you want to close the distance at this
If
point?
I don't have to close the distance, I will
So-
use the attack from here.
Well, look at the lamp stats. What kind of weapon is it?
Lamp is simple melee.
So you need to be-
load is none. One.
So you need to be engaged. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you hustle 6?
I have 9 movement. I can
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. So you grab the lamp and you come forward toward the shadow swarm. And remember, its damage threshold has dropped significantly at this point. So make your attack. It's a simple melee test. This test is standard.
Jesus fuck. What was it? Simple? What
Yes.
was the?
Simple melee.
what
It's a
was the-
standard test.
All right, I'm gonna reroll.
You want to reroll?
I don't know if I want to, guys. Look at all these other things.
There's
on the
4
board.
remaining.
You're good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I shall take that.
All right. There's a 65% chance. And should just stop rolling.
Okay. You hold the light toward
76.
it. Oof. Banneker holds the light toward it, and unfortunately, the attack failed. Unfortunately, it does not. The thing seems to kind of move and duck out of the way of the light, which now brings the shadow swarm.
Damn it.
And the shadow swarm hears, and then suddenly there's this kind of sound that happens as it will attempt to attack in a burst template. It has a 55% chance to strike. I really just rolled beneath the table. I rolled a 40, hits everybody. You may attempt to resist with a standard toughness test, unless you can resist physical peril by some other means.
Success. 60.
Failure.
Critical success.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
What is the
Standard.
standard toughness?
Right. 31.
Oh, I'm good there.
Nice. Who failed? Okay. Suddenly you see Elisa lifted off of the ground, her arms drawn back behind her. Her tippy toes are dusting the floor at this point, as you will suffer.
Nothing. Noble savage.
For...
Never suffer peril from failed toughness?
No.
Oh.
Let's clarify what it says for your ancestral trait. Clarify what it says real quick. Noble
Okay.
Savage.
I thought the only words it said was never suffer.
Let's clarify, because I just to clarify, just to
No,
be
that's
clear.
fine. I'll look it up.
So I think we'll look it up here too while we're here. Might as well.
Make sure.
I think it says due to failed toughness tests, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want to clarify. So make sure that's completely correct. So, Noble Savage. Yep, you're good. So she falls to the ground unaffected. Is anybody else affected? Nope. All right.
Yeah.
I critically succeed.
Oh, nice. That's good. Tell you what, we'll refresh the fortune pool for that. Actually, we'll give you the fortune point. Let's be fair. Lilith is not going to do that. So the other shadow storm begins to move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we'll put it right here. I'm going to replace this because it's flying. It's not affected by any of this. It just seems to hover over the ground and it closes the distance upon Lilith. Almost drawn inexorably toward you as Lilith feels this otherworldly presence that is attempting to defy her will from beyond the Leviathan's eye. And the shadow swarm will... And then suddenly there's this blast of gray energy that washes over Lilith. This warm energy. And as it kind of blasts out where you can feel like this, you feel the air being drawn out of your lungs. That's going to attempt to strike, so it's a 65% chance for this. Roll an 18. You attempt to resist with a challenging toughness test.
Okay. 60. Ooh, 97. I'm going to re-roll that.
Ooh, okay. Take that.
And 100.
Oh, critical
my
failure?
goodness.
Oh no. We'll add an additional d6 on this one.
Actually, we're going to have the oath thing.
To avoid the crit failure then?
Yeah.
Okay, so just
Oh,
a failure.
thank goodness.
Okay.
I'll take one.
Yeah, toss it.
Pass over.
That's right. So I'm an oath keeper. So it will
Oh my
will
God.
proceed to do
That could have been bad.
at this point.
I don't want to know what that is. It would have been bad.
It does 10 physical peril, and as this happens, you need to resist a takedown with a challenging coordination test.
Coordination.
Anybody else?
48% chance to succeed. 28 succeeds.
Okay.
Screwed, I'm not
You were
gonna
not
do
knocked to the ground, which is good. And my turn is now over, so Warren, it is your turn. Or Lilith, I should
So
say.
it's engaged with Lilith.
It is engaged with
Congratulations.
Lilith.
Aww,
Hi, Mom.
Hey.
so sweet.
What will you do?
Demon spawn and demon spawn. Aww.
I'm going to charge the Demon Smith. gonna run right through this thing.
Oh man.
Okay.
It's a bold move.
Wait,
guys.
did it pass by me? Wouldn't it have had to pass by me?
Yeah, I think so.
Would I have
Yeah.
gotten an attack?
Yeah, let's go ahead and resolve that.
Do
Oh, why
it.
not?
Because I have a lantern shield.
That's right. So go ahead and roll. It's going to be an easy test.
Okay.
It's simple melee for a lamp.
Yep, so 52, 62, 72, odd 8.
Nice.
Nice.
Roll damage.
And then the lamp is a d10 plus my
Perception bonus, that's right.
This is how I always need to fight us with a perception bonus. Shit. 15.
It is moderately wounded,
Nice.
but does not suffer injury. So good call. As you rush through it, it'll make an opportunity attack.
Of course.
And as this happens, it's an easy test. So it's going to be a 75%
I can't
chance.
do anything with this. I may as well ignore it.
I roll a 3.
Nice.
It struck you, and it does 10 physical peril, and you need to resist a takedown.
Okay.
Which is a hard coordination test.
Coordination.
It's right here.
38. Ooh.
Right here.
I think I should re-roll.
3 fortune points left.
Probably not. I'll fail.
Okay. Lilith stumbles and falls to the ground. Oof.
Okay, so that interrupted my action, correct?
You moved and you fell.
Okay,
So you're
one
you're
action
engaged.
point?
Yeah, you're engaged by it.
Okay.
You're engaged with the Demon Smith and the Shadow Swarm. You're
Okay.
engaged with both, but you're lying on the ground.
Coordination trained, so I'll stand up.
Okay. Come for 1 AP.
Yep.
Ugh.
And then I will attack the Demon Smith
Okay. With your what?
with my Seabran Bullwhip.
Okay. You need to roll to strike. This is probably make this a challenging test. After all, you did fall down.
57% chance to succeed. I'm gonna reroll.
Oh,
Rolling like
okay.
me, man. You've been rolling like me.
3 misfortune, 2 fortune left.
Jeez, I just missed it.
Oh. Snap, snap! And as you snap toward it, you can see this kind of sound in front of it. Like there's like this thing of air that's kind of lingering in front of it. That kind of goes, kind of darts around, moving in front of the blows. Magic. Okay, so
how many action points left? Two.
that's all. That's it. So now it is going to be Elisa's turn.
Elisa will step 1 forward. And she's going to go ahead and swing again on the shadow creature.
Okay. So you
Actually-
take the lamp. You take the lamp and raise it.
You said it was 2.
It was
Could be the
taking for
focus.
2 AP. Yes.
It's already got that.
That
No, the
doesn't.
one I'm
No.
holding off.
Oh, well.
Actually, no longer because
It was only 1 hit.
Yeah.
And
No.
it
I
was-
never hit.
Specifically, it is 1 hit until the next turn begins. So
Oh,
her
okay.
next turn has just begun. So she's not taking aim at it anymore. So you don't have the nobody can take
But
advantage of that.
it was
right?
Harper who had done it.
Was it
It
Harper?
was on the other
Yeah, it
one
was me.
anyway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So Harper.
It was
that's
me
right.
and the one that she's not attacking.
That's
so.
right. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah, and just to clarify, it's any attack, as long as he's taking. So if you do it before his next turn, you take advantage of it.
Right, so if you want to move and mess up the one that I'm attacking, we'll do that.
Yeah, you can toss him again the
I
other way.
could, but I have a feeling that one's going to be a bigger threat right now because y'all can take that one out.
Alright.
Hopefully.
I
So
don't know.
anyway, if I use right, if I use my lantern as a weapon, does that break it? Because it does say shrapnel, so I assume that's you throwing the lantern and breaking it, right?
Well, let's be clear. If you're using light as a weapon, you're not attacking with the light. You're like, ha-ha, light! You're saying, oh! It's like literally Perseus raising his shield to Medusa. It's the light
Damn it.
coming
Yes.
from the lamp, so
3D,
it affects things in a shrapnel A shrap. It's
Okay.
a light. It's a beam, right? A wide beam.
Okay, because I want to use my lantern then, since it does more damage. It's just since it said shrapnel, I didn't know if
Okay.
that
So
included
where
spring.
is your lantern?
I had
Because
the light shield and I had my lantern.
Okay. So in the future, what we should remember, is that if you're attacking with a weapon in your offhand, you flip to fail unless you have ambidexterity.
Oh.
So you would have to flip to fail for that lantern shield to strike because it's
Okay.
an offhand. So
Good.
we'll it's okay though.
Do you want to just assume the lantern is and I'll flip to fail on this instead? To even that
It's
out,
up to
or-
you. I mean,
I'll do
I don't
that.
really care.
I feel like that's fair.
Sure. Okay.
So she just had the lantern in her offhand and the
Yeah.
shield in her.
And remember, you can swap weapons for free at the beginning of your turn.
Yeah, I was gonna say. you
As
can
long
Oh well,
swap
then
it to the main
I
hand.
guess I could say technically she swapped.
Sure.
I won't do that because that seems cheap.
Whatever you feel is best. I think it's important for us to know the rules, so
No, that's fine.
we'll correct it moving forward. No big deal.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your test. It is going to be standard.
Standard. Okay. And that's simple melee, so 52. Even with a flip to fail, I'm still fine with a 43.
Nice. Roll damage.
So that is a 3d10.
Whoa.
Lord.
Yeah.
3d10 and peanut butter?
Okay, that's
That's
10
what
plus
it's
one more
got.
d10, which is a 6, 16, 25 points of damage.
That's crazy.
How much damage?
25. Plus 9%. I'm telling you, let me fight with perception.
Me too.
The shadow swarm is banished.
Nice.
As she raises the lantern, she opens the vents, the light drives it away, and you can see it just tearing apart at the seams, and suddenly the shadow swarm is gone. But the smell of the reek persists. The smell is so overpowering. Okay,
That was
Harper?
my
you hustle.
Hustle.
hustle attack. So I still have 1 AP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hustle. Man.
So I am going to move back towards the other one.
Okay. You want to close the distance?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that happens. And now we move to Harper. Harper, what are you gonna do?
Harper. He's going to aim for 2, maintain it, and then try to give a bit of encouraging words to. All right, folks, I'm going to hold this one here, and you just beat the hell out of it with light. I don't know how that works, but I believe in you. Believe in yourselves.
What's your current damage condition?
I am moderately wounded.
Okay, it's gonna be a
See how it's
Standard test.
Standard test.
standard leadership.
43. That's a 25.
Success. Nice. Everyone adds their +1 damage and peril thresholds until the end of combat,
Yeah.
which is good.
And so that'll be my 3 AP. So aim for 2, then inspired words.
That's right. Okay. So now we come to Eugene Thornberry.
Can I see the guy to charge from the top of the pillar? I'm thinking no, because it almost looks like the pillar's returned, but I can't tell.
You know something's going on back there. You just can't see clearly what's happening behind there, but you know something is happening.
Can I charge him?
No, you cannot because you don't have clear sight. You can
Okay.
you can hustle for 1 AP
I'll hustle.
and then charge.
No, I'll just hustle around and stab him. So I'm gonna move around and stab at this guy.
Okay. So 1 moment.
I think I'm gonna aim for one.
Okay. So you come around to the other side. 1, 2, 3, and you come up, and you realize that the Sea of Redeemer Smith is standing in the middle of a circle, and
Is the witch stone dissipated?
yeah,
It became the witch stone, basically.
I can't tell you that.
It's gone.
That's fine.
It's
It's not
gone.
there. It's not there. It's
It
all
is
gone.
simply not there.
Right, then I move around and stab at him.
Okay.
Turn into a
What are you stabbing with?
My stiletto stone.
Oh goodness. Okay, it's gonna be a challenging test.
Yeah, I'm gonna aim it.
Okay. So standard test.
Yep. Alright. That's gonna give me a 56. Oh, 83 is a fail. I'm gonna stab again since I go.
Okay. That's gonna be a challenging
Challenging,
test.
20 success.
Nice. Okay. he will attempt to parry for a misfortune point.
I'll allow it.
I will allow it. His chance is 80%. He grabs the weapon and 2 hits. Sorry, 90%. My
When
apologies.
you're like crit success, dude.
I rolled a 64, so it succeeds. So pink, like you lunge out and takes the staff and tink with the petrified wood.
That's it. That's it for me.
Alrighty. Alrighty.
God damn it.
Okay, so now we move to initiative again. And I'll take your values. Harper Clavier.
10:30 though.
Did you get more than 4 times my
So-
initiative this time?
The question is, because we are at the beginning of combat, maybe we should pause here and resume
Next week.
next week, given that, one,
It's late.
danger's not over, Terwin is not here, and yeah.
Sure.
So let's wrap for tonight, and
So we're gonna finish on 69.
the thing you should know is, that's right, we will finish
69.
on 69.
Oh man.
God
So-
damn it.
Give yourselves 1
Advance.
advance or 3 focuses, if you will.
3 focuses.
I think we had some corruption tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah.
It might have been a bit rough.
I did.
I feel like a rookie.
I know. I'm just gonna throw the initiative up here so we kind of know what it is next time. Eugene Thornberry, Elisa, look at that, and we'll have refreshed. Wow, 31 for Banneker. Look at that.
Yep. So you got more than like 3 times my
That's right.
I can still go higher than that.
I know you can.
See the 2d10.
I can still go lower.
That's right.
can still
I can't.
I could go worse. Okay.
I could have a 7 initiative.
So we do have some corruption tonight, so we'll roll a die real quick to determine what the value is. Who has corruption on the table?
What's that?
Okay, everybody's in order rank if you didn't have a corruption. Otherwise, we're rolling against a 10.
Roll.
So to be continued.
Somebody got it?
5 and
Okay,
Yeah.
I need to mark
I think so. Yeah, we've played 5 sessions so
That's
far.
alright.
That's right.
Yeah.
So to be continued next week in Queen of Embers. We will resume. Terwin will be here. We will see what hellish things are unleashed in the fight with the Demon Smith and the Shadow Swarm. Plural.
Kind of fire.
That's right. So thank you for your patrons. Thanks for watching.
It's really hot.
Thanks for checking out our pod. Yep. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Do you like Banneker?
Very
Move over there,
angry.
Banneker's a dead dude.
He's really weird about some. Have you met him? He's really weird about